in an in-law.
So that sounds pretty difficult to literally have your in-laws above you. And how do you think, do they communicate with you often?
Well, yeah, we have a good relationship. It's just not my ideal living situation, especially as a homeowner, you know.
Right,
To
right.
not even have the opportunity to make your home and put your
Yeah.
touches to it.
Yeah. Have you talked about perhaps getting a home of your own?
I think that's just unrealistic with already having, invested in the parents' home.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you're, surrounded by a lot of things that are going on. I mean, living with your in-laws above you, having a new baby, and just, wanting to work things out with your husband. Have you talked, is this your first time in therapy?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, have you talked to him about you coming to therapy at all?
I've kept it to myself for now.
Okay. Well, that's fine. So now let's kind of switch gears and sort of talk about primarily focus on your relationship with him, because that seems to be what you want to work on. Am I correct, or correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that being part of the solution. I just want to maybe identify certain things that I can be doing better so I don't feel so empty or alone.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about, when you feel these feelings of feeling empty and alone?
Like in what context?
Is there a specific time during the day where these feelings sort of come up for you?
I mean, when I get home, I'm not looking forward to, being home. And if I'm already in a funk about not being home, I'm definitely not going to reach out to like my support system, because I automatically just start to isolate myself.
And what are some of the feelings you have that make you dread going home? Meaning, like, basically, why do you kind of dread going home?
Because I don't want to talk to my husband.
Okay.
I don't like the way he makes me feel.
And when you do try to talk to him about these feelings, you said that an argument starts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really address my feelings. Like, I'll just end up arguing back, and I feel like it brings out a side of me that I'm not okay with showing. Like, I find myself using that same language back to him, and it's just not okay with me. I'm not okay with that.
And does that impact his relationship with his son, or do you guys just sort of keep it separate?
Oh, we keep it separate.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. And do you spend time on the weekends? I know you mentioned you have weekends off. Do you spend it, on family outings or anything?
Mostly with my son. My husband and I have opposite work schedules, so
okay.
It works out that way.
Would spending more time with him, do you think, would help the situation? Or would you rather just...
It's to the point where I don't even care to engage in any activities with him.
Oh, wow. Okay. And have you talked to your support system about this at all?
Not in too much detail.
Okay. So you've sort of been dealing with this on your own. And that just sounds like it's a lot for one person to take on. Are you happy in the marriage?
No.
Okay. And how long have you been unhappy?
maybe it started being more obvious to me when we moved in with his parents.
Mhm. And this was, did you say
Like 3 years ago.
3 years ago? So that's a long time to be unhappy, I feel like. And has it been building up at all, or has it just been a constant?
Well, I think it's built up to the point where I just don't feel numb. I feel numb. Like I don't feel anything anymore.
Okay. Do you use, and the way you cope, you said sometimes you go to the gym, which is really healthy and really helpful.
Yeah.
But I feel like perhaps we can explore, what you want out of this marriage if you still want this marriage. I mean, do you feel like you want to continue?
I want to be free. I don't want to be in this marriage anymore.
Okay. And you think that you would be happier not being in this marriage any longer?
Yes.
Okay. And so it sounds to me that just thinking about not being in the marriage kind of makes you a little bit happier.
Yeah.
Sort of like a relief. Yeah. So is there anything that you would like to talk about in terms of, perhaps you wanting to leave the marriage? Is there anything that you want to, sort of think about before? Do you want to weigh, the pros and the cons, or are you pretty adamant about?
I'm pretty adamant about eventually ending the marriage.
Okay. So let's just go back to your goals. Now, your goals were to just not feel depressed and just sort of be able to go home to a good house, like a home that you would want to go home to.
Right.
Okay. So I have some. Ideally, if you weren't in this marriage, what would your life look like?
I'd love to have a 2-bedroom apartment. One would be for me, like one bedroom would be for me, the other for my son. As far as work, I mean, it's great to have weekends off. However, I'm not truly happy in the position that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
So in this ideal world, I would go back to my previous job. And pretty much raise my son, as a single parent, but I would still want to keep things civil with my ex-husband.
Okay.
Husband now, ex-husband in this hypothetical.
Okay. Well, that all sounds attainable to me. So let's sort of, I kind of am curious if you're open to it, to perhaps starting a sort of like, have you written in a diary before when you were younger? In a journal?
Not so much.
Not so much? Okay, I know you're a super busy woman, but I think it would be helpful to sort of chart your moods, and when you do feel, alone and depressed and whatnot, to just make a note about the situation that you're in, what you're currently thinking, and what are the thoughts that are coming to you. And when you do feel depressed, apologies for not asking you before, what are some of the thoughts that you do have?
When I feel down?
Yeah. What sort of words are running through your head?
I feel like no one's gonna understand my situation. I feel empty. I feel unworthy. That my husband's not treating me the way I want to be treated. Although we've discussed you know, the way he talks to me,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously the way I talk to him in return. I feel like I'm moving towards my 40s and I'm kind of regressing
Mm-hmm.
in a way. So it just makes me feel like a failure.
Okay. Those are very strong words to be feeling. I mean, it seems really difficult. So what I would like you to do, if you're open to it, is sort of start noting, when you feel these feelings and sort of write down what you're feeling at the time. And next time when you come in, we can sort of go over, why you might be feeling these feelings at the time and what we can sort of do to change it if you're open to it. As for your marriage, I think it's, I'm not trained to be in couples therapy and whatnot, but I'm here for whatever you'd like to talk about. And yeah, so hopefully next session we can just sort of dive deeper into